All right, just making sure I'm live on the other side. All right, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for coming to today's town hall. Give a shout out to those who are watching us live streaming. My name is Steve Berberich. I'm the Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs and Provost. As of July 6th, I was here on campus. So I've been a relatively recent addition. I want to introduce those who are with me here on the stage and a couple that are in the audience. First, I'll introduce Daniel Maxwell, our Interim Vice President for Student Affairs. And to his right is Yvette Bendeck, our Associate Vice President for Enrollment Management. And in the audience, I'll have them wave, maybe stand up, Natasia Pilling from University of Houston Clear Lake's Veterans Service Office. You should all recognize her. Soon will be joining us is Jay Hills, his assistant registrar from the University of Houston Central. We're guessing that he and a couple of the two other people he brought from the registrar's office are probably either stuck in traffic or trying to figure out how to use our parking meter there in the visitor parking lot across the street. Brad McGongle, our Executive Director from Human Resources, is here with us today. And last but certainly not least, Mark Denny, our Vice President for Admin and Finance, the most recent addition to the senior leadership today. So let me tell you a little bit. I'm just going to say a few words here at the beginning, just an outline of what I'm going to share with you. The reason we're holding this event is that we all recognize that you have concerns. And this event is one of our ways that we're going to be able to listen to those concerns, but also we're going to stay focused on moving forward. Also, I think it's important that you know today we're really starting some discussion around the future for the VSO. Not simply focused on replacing the director who recently left, but really a broader review of the services and facilities and personnel in the VSO. So I'm going to spend a few minutes reviewing plans to continue supporting veteran students following the departure of Jay Hernandez, and then I'll speak briefly about how we're going to ask for your inputs as we plan for the future of the VSO. And then after I'm finished with my remarks, we're really going to make this the town hall that it was claimed to be. We're going to ask you for an opportunity to share your comments or concerns. You're going to see there's some microphones down here, and I think Alex may have another one he'll move around, so we'll ask you either to go to the podium or ask for the microphone. I'm going to say if you have a specific comment or question about your particular situation, I'm going to ask that maybe you hold those to the end of the town meeting. I know Natasia's going to be here. Hopefully Jay will also be in the room, and there'll be several of these other individuals that are going to stay afterwards. So if you want to come down and have those conversations, we want to hear any of those issues. So let me talk about where we are now. And so let me start by saying Jay Hernandez left as interim director of the VSO on October 19th. It was a Friday. And I guess the take home I want to share with you is that the VSO continues to be open for business. Jay gave us a couple weeks notice. He's continued to stay connected with us during this transition period, meaning until we bring on the new director, so I can kind of define for you the window I'm talking about. We're going to be continuing to support our veteran students and veteran-dependent students. Natasia, Bruce Bradley, with the assistance, I'm told, of 4 student workers, Jesse, Scott, Cameron, and Justin, they're going to continue to support the office. With respect to credentialing, we're going to still provide that support out of the VSO office. During this period without the director, we are getting additional support from UH Central. Jay Hills and the other members of his office will be assisting us in processing those of you with federal credentialing. While they're not going to be physically here on campus, they're going to work with us from the central office to make sure we get all of your paperwork that you're going to turn into the VSO processed on time and ready for all the necessary things for you to move forward. It's been confirmed that Jay Hills will be at our UHCL during the Credentialing Festival, which is held on November 28th. I know if you haven't heard of it, you'll be getting more information about that. As I transition to how we're going to move forward, one of the things we're going to want to do is start holding what are called focus groups, where these are going to help us develop the vision for the future VSO. Brad McGonigal will be leading that process, and so if you're interested in participating in one of these focus groups, you're going to have a couple ways to let us know. First, we'll be reaching out to you by emails, where you can respond back when you get the invite to join. Better yet, if you want to sign up today, Brad will be around. I'm sure he'd be happy to collect your information. And then when he'll be contacting you once we set up those dates for these focus group meetings. As I said before, these focus groups are going to provide important information about the VSO needs in those areas of servicing, programming, personnel, and facilities. So we came to hear from all of you, so I'm going to summarize now. We're open for business. We're ready to begin planning for your future VSO. So let me stop now. Let me just take a moment. I believe Jay is here, Jay Hills. And so Jay, if you'd like to acknowledge the two people from UH Central you brought with you. Thank you. Appreciate that. And so, as I mentioned to him before, as you were coming in afterwards, if they want to come down and have questions, I appreciate if you could stay around a few minutes to help Natasia. All right. At this point, I'm going to stop and ask the group here or those in the audience to answer any questions or ask you for your comments, and we'll try to respond. So this is your chance now. Anybody want to bring forward a question, comment, concern? We've got microphones we can hand out. Oh, that's okay. We're good. That's good. We're getting. I like that. Just takes one to stand up, and then we'll get moving. Okay, if you don't mind going to the microphone or having it passed to you, that'd be great.
Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Capt. I've been a student here since 2016. Here's where I have my biggest disconnection with what's going on right now. It's not just about benefits for the veterans. What Jay and Tricia were able to provide for us beyond just benefit certification, they knew the ins and outs of the VA. They knew how to answer questions with students on more matters than just, hey, when's my housing allowance going to come in? When can I register for classes? They did so much more. And Tricia left a while back, and we didn't see any changes happening as far as other than Jay was made interim. Jay left, which was a huge hit to many of us. So while I understand we're focused on a vision for the future of the VSO and what can be done in focus groups, and that all sounds great. However, with nobody on campus for the foreseeable future other than Natasia, and she does an absolute great job. I want to commend her for how good of a job she does. We have holes that need to be filled immediately for the services that Jay and Tricia were able to provide us on a regular basis beyond just the benefits that affect us from our GI Bill. And the fact that this school has continued, not only now, but I had a previous meeting, and I'm getting the same message, and I'm coming out with more questions, because it's more important to me to see a director filled fast and those bodies there for what they provide for us than more computers, a bigger space. All that is secondhand to getting those positions filled first.
So you said knowledge of the VA and goals to be filled.
Sure. Anytime you had a question when it came to disabilities, anytime you had a question in regard to disabilities or anything like that, how do I go about it? All those things, they were extreme. And not just that, if I had an issue with school, if I had an issue with the professor and I need to say, hey man, Jay, can you help me out? I don't know exactly how to go about this situation, because not only were they part of the VSO office, they were also former students. They knew the ins and outs of the university. It's imperative that those services remain intact, and I'm 100% certain right now we don't have that, at least not to the previous capabilities that we did when we had Tricia and Jay.
I appreciate your comment, Chet, and I appreciate it for two things I take away from it. First, I agree with your position that the VSO is not simply credentialing. It's an important piece. that we don't want to lose the capabilities to do during this transition window. But I agree with you. The services, the programming, the ability to have that conversation. And so what I'd ask you to do in this transition window, I appreciate your position. We want to get that director on. I'm not even certain it's just a director. That's part of the planning part, is really making sure we got the right number of people in that office. So I guess I would say to you, continue, and all of you, continue to ask those questions of Natasia, Bruce, and the team. And if they don't have the answer, they're not going to try to give you an answer off the top of their head. But what we're going to do is we're staying connected and supporting that office. And so with Dan and Yvette and our offices, we'll make sure we get that information to you during this transition window, because you know, the credentialing is critical, but it's not the only piece. And we will meet your needs. You just have to keep asking those questions, and we will get the answers. And I will not ask the team to become experts in all aspects, but rather use the team here to make sure the resources we have here at the campus, we can find that information for you. All right? Appreciate it. Do. Question over here.
Mine's going to run along the same line as his. Jay was a wonderful piece of property that we had there, not only for the VA or the school, but for personal needs as well. Jay had a whole book of business cards, and no matter what you needed, he had it. But you say recently Jay left, but it was 4 to 5 months ago that Tricia left, and I still don't see a position up on the careers page for any of them. What's the holdup on that? Why are we not getting filled as needed quickly?
Yeah. No, I mean, I respect your concern around when Tricia left, we had Jay be the interim director, and whether Jay shared this with you or not, Jay was one of several people we were asking to help us with that vision. And the challenge here is, you know, Jay has a wealth of information, as Tricia does too, and when Tricia moved on, or Jay moved on, that's a loss for UHCL. But I also have to recognize that for them, those were opportunities. So I'm sorry that they left in the way that they did, and I'm sorry that we weren't able to take the next step with Jay on to really have that vision. But at this moment in time, we're taking all these comments around why we're not going for a director. The point I want to convey back is that we want to support you in this period of time. We want to move quickly to focus groups, because in the end, we want to end up with the VSO that is not just back to where it was when Jay and Tricia were here, but actually is to the best of its ability meeting all of your needs and expanding our thoughts. So these concerns are important, and it's not just the people, it's their knowledge I'm hearing and how they were able to support you. That's one piece, I think, of what a veteran service office can be, an important piece. But I just want you to, I know Brad will move quickly here with the focus groups, but we will move diligently to get a picture, and certainly a director will be a key part in filling that position, if not more. Other questions? Thank you.
Hello, my name is Erica Solis, and I am a junior here on this campus. And so my question, and I was trying to organize my thoughts and not get emotional, so I'll try to do that today. But so recently, I'm a spouse of a veteran, and recently my son just enlisted in the Navy, and it's been very emotional for me. And I have not had the resources here on campus to be able to support me in emotionally coping with this. There is no one in Veteran Services Office or in counseling services that is licensed as a therapist or a counselor that specializes in military families or dependents of military families issues. There's not social workers. There's not a single social worker that is hired here to work in either office to be able to help in this area. And I know that both offices are going to be merging. So Veteran Services offices, from what I've kind of been told, is they might be merging with counseling services. And my question still is, even if there are counselors that have worked with some, veterans a couple of times, throughout their career here, that is still not a specialization in working with our population. And I know we're trying to move forward from here and look at, but I need services like last week.
So a couple things just based on the first three questions. So in the Division of Student Affairs, the Counseling Center is a part of that, but they also have a community outreach coordinator. So I can get with Amber to see what kind of services that she has out in the community that she can connect with as well. Some of the other things that I think Jay and Tricia may have done was based on the relationships with staff that are currently on campus. So the Dean of Students Office is a great resource for connecting with faculty and walking through maybe different approaches to how to work with faculty or talk with faculty. The Counseling Center also has that opportunity. We could easily look at having folks come over and do some hours in the VSO area, but also make sure that people know what those services are so that they're not feeling only that the VSO is the only location that they can go and get those services. So I'm going to take some notes as we keep talking and then follow up with people individually, but please know that the Division of Student Affairs has a number of these different services for advocacy or for connection in the community if we don't currently provide something, to see how we can get that service to you here or get you connected to those services in the community.
And I mean, I would like to say, I met with the Dean of Students and the Assistant Dean. I had a great meeting with them in their office, and they had mentioned to me that they would find me those resources, and that was not the case. That did not happen. I also sent a follow-up email. They have not responded to my email. On top of that, Counseling Services told me that I would no longer be able to seek counseling services there because of my counseling history. I've missed apparently a couple of too many sessions. They also informed me that students here on this campus usually seek counseling for 2 semesters, and then move on. I was told all of this over the telephone, which, God forbid I was suicidal or anything else, to be told that kind of information, that when you are having this traumatic experience in your life, you are cut. God forbid that anything, that was traumatizing for me. And so I was always aware that by being a student, as long as I was a student here, that I was granted services with counseling services, and I was also told that service is granted even I think it's one semester post-graduation. So both offices, you know, Jay was wonderful, also like was mentioned with resources. I have been pulling on this campus at various strings, and all of those strings have let me down thus far.
So Erica, we haven't met yet, so you and I can talk after this, and I'll get you connected where you need to be connected.
Awesome.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Other questions?
Hi, I'm Cassie. I'm close to graduation. My concern is the time frame for this transition, because with the focus groups and everything, all I know is that it's going to take time. Lots and lots of time. Some of us don't have lots of time even to meet in focus groups because most of us are working, or in my case, I'm a stay-at-home mom unless I'm in class. So how long do you think this transition is going to take?
So Brad, in terms of setting up the focus groups, we're not talking more than a week or so, correct?
No, the first focus group will be next Monday. I just need to get everybody's feedback and make sure we have the right people. One of the things that Chet, right, pointed out that jumped out at me immediately was filling the holes. This process is helping fill those holes. Going out and hiring somebody immediately may or may not fill the hole that's needed. You're the ones that help us fill that hole, and that's the purpose of the focus group. We'll meet next Monday evening, whatever time fits y'all's needs is what we're gonna do. So we're gonna make that happen. We're gonna fill those holes, and we're gonna make this the best opportunity for y'all going forward because you deserve it.
And not to put you on the spot, Brad, but following with your comment, you know, if they're not able to come to whatever date or dates you set up next week, recognizing there'll be some way for them to provide feedback in a written form to some, I mean, I want to respect that you're all very busy and we're in the midst of a semester here also. So, you know, if you're able to make a focus group, I think, you know, that's an opportunity, just like these comments are helping us get a better understanding of your needs, but respecting that you may want to just send an email of comments. I'm sure Brad's.
And I'll set that
So I don't want to necessarily finish out that timeline, and please understand now, I'm making my best guess as where we head from there. I don't see any reason why we can't have at least a position posted shortly after the focus groups have been summarized. We have that opportunity to take that information and help build that next future VSO with the idea that we can have a candidate or candidates finalist on campus here at the early part of spring semester. So, you know, before you graduate, I hope the vision of what this future is, that you actually experience some of that, seeing it already on the ground. It's my personal desire.
Will your information be in the VSO so we can contact
Yes,
you?
we'll, after this meeting, I'll make sure that I get with Natasia, and get that straightened out. But the bottom line is, yes, you will have full access. Just real quick reference, my background, I worked for a Silver Star recipient for 15 years. And so I know what veteran services, I'm not a veteran myself, but I know what the demands are for veterans. And like I said, when you work for somebody like I did, you get it done. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to get it done. Right.
Hi, my name is John Jaramillo. Because I'm about to finish graduating too next semester. And I know y'all are talking about how U of H was going to help with certifications at Surfest for a day or two. And I know you said that they will be helping us not only on those 2 days, but I would like to know how, other than those 2 days, and are they going to come back physically to come and help us with certifications, or just going to be that 1 day or two?
Well, I know they're going to come for the celebration to help us in terms of processing things there. Jay, do you want to speak a little bit about how your office will be assisting the VSO? Thank you.
Yes, sir, no problem. First of all, let me say one thing real quick. I want to thank you all for your service, and we are much appreciative of that. What we are going to do to help out is two things. One, we will be coming by hopefully once a week to actually come over to the VSO office, so that way you can actually see us, physically see us. On top of that, we will be certifying at U of H as well. So we still will be processing your certifications. Without taking away from our students at U of H main campus, we will have 2 additional certifying officials, which will be myself and Miss Selena, to certify strictly for Clear Lake. So you will see us at CertFest. You will also see us hopefully very soon coming once a week, maybe even twice a week, just so you can kind of establish a name with a face. And we can answer some of those questions. Also, we can provide you with our contact information. So if you have any questions, I can definitely give you my direct line and my email address. You can send me an email if you have any questions about your certification. We can definitely take care of that for you.
Okay, yeah, because my thing was that Wednesday that you're supposed to come out, I'm not even going to be able to be there for that certification because I'm internship right now, and it's on Wednesdays.
Gotcha.
And it's all day, and that's why I was wondering what other days or how other way were you going to help us out. So, yeah, appreciate it. That's good.
So one of the things that we're looking at also is maybe coming out twice. That was the original proposal that we submitted, was maybe to come out twice a week. We're just trying to work out what days work best. Right. I know we talked about maybe a Monday and a Friday. If not, then for sure it will be on a Wednesday. But if for any reason, if that does not work best, then this is not too far from the main campus. It's not so far from my house as well. Mm-hmm. I have no problem with coming in, or Miss Selena coming in to sit down and letting you guys go ahead and come in and have a talk with us.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you, Jay.
Real quick, Dr. Berberich, in the back, on the way out in the foyer, there's a sign-up sheet for the focus group and one-on-one contact. So please, on your way out, if you're interested, sign up. And we'll get back with you either this evening or first thing in the morning on moving forward.
I'm John Carnley, and I really appreciate all of you coming out to try to help us move forward with this. This is kind of, I started here in the spring, so this is actually kind of new to me, some of the things I'm hearing about some additional counseling services as well as everything, because I just kind of think of it as I need somebody to sign my paperwork so I can get in and I can start class. So it's a lot more than that, and I really appreciate what y'all are trying to do. So based on that, I guess kind of my question is what drives the VSO office? Is it a VA mandated thing? And so the VA is funding who comes in, or is it a sharing of, UCL, Clear Lake pays for some billets or some positions, and the VA pays for other ones? And so with that, I guess, does that make the process a little longer? Because if you're going to have to go through the VA and do other things, there's other criteria. So that's kind of what has me wondering now is this could take a long time, and we may be doing some patch filling along the way with the support of a stable site like UH main campus. And if that's fine, we just need to work together to figure out a process so that we are getting fully supported here. So I'm just kind of interested in who's driving the bus and what's really driving the bus, so that somewhere down the road we can expect a really solid candidate that's coming in, and it's not just a temporary fill. I don't know why Trish left. I don't know why Jay left. That just seems to be a lot of turnover in a short period of time. And is that kind of what we're expecting in the future, just because the way the positions are structured, identified? I have no idea what the criteria for anyone to work in that office other than the student helpers. They've got to have at least 18 hours left of their benefits. That's all I know. So I'm just kind of interested in that. And you don't have to try to answer all that right now. That's kind of a lot. Maybe during the focus groups, be more interested in finding out what's going on.
Thank you for your questions. Go ahead, Yvette.
There are 3 positions that are fully funded from the university. There's no outside funding for, that will influence the speed at which we can proceed with the plan. The original structure at this university was that certification was under financial aid. It was the group of veteran students back in 2013, talking to President Staples at that time, that emerged the vision of having a single place where the students could be served, not only their certification needs, but also bringing other types of services. I had the pleasure of hiring Tricia, and she hired Jay. And over the past 4 years, they were very dedicated to servicing you and making sure that your needs were met as much as the current resources will allow. Now what we're looking forward is to Jay and Tricia had already started the conversations with the provost and myself about growing the services to better suit the needs of veteran students and deliver that support structure that all of you need to be successful. And that's where we're headed, making sure. But rest assured that there's 3 positions that are fully funded by the institution: the director position, the coordinator position, and the program assistant position that Natasia was hired to do to be there. There were discussions of applying for a special program from the VSO, but from the veterans, but that won't hold any of the plans. That would just be an enhancement for disabled students to have not having to go to the VA hospital, but having them come here and provide those services for students. Hope that answers your question.
Thank you. Any other questions from the audience? Okay, if not, I want to thank you all for coming. I want to thank the individuals who I've introduced who are here, who will remain if you want to come down and have questions. And as Brad mentioned, as you go back out the top, if you want to sign up for individual meeting or a focus group, please do so. But we'll be communicating by email additional opportunities for feedback. If there are no other comments from the group here, I'll thank you. Have a great afternoon and look forward to working with you. Take care.